comrade leader, good evening. Good evening, my boss. In the area, the comrades, man, are straight to August, you know that, right? Well, I know right, yes, a comrade leader where I've come from. No, the one and only Mrs. Golden will beat them bad. Not true? Yeah, man, right, yes, a comrade leader normally there. So all who don't like it, them have to go bite it. Him born right up a UE. I yes, sir, run up and down and grow the people them. So them can't talk anything what them want to talk. I want my Golden, I yes, sir, born and grow. So them can't say anything what them want to say. Our leader will love him and him we work with, right? Cleaners and cleaner. We don't want nobody who keep for money for them friend and company. Yes, comrades. We're back big and broad so we can talk, man, and we're proud. Comrade leader, good evening, welcome. I know you've had a long day. Boy, them draw the thing in the parliament after you beat and teach them. Them come for confuse the people and carry all kind of message. But we're solid and you stand firm. So thank you. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for joining our people. Right? So now, comrades, so no second on, we're going to hear from Dr. Andre Hartton, the next member of parliament for West Central St. James. I want to know, big him up, right? Him a put in the work and him have some of them under pressure down there. Right, yeah man, so big him up. We're going to hear from him now. He's our shadow spokesperson on science, technology, innovation and entrepreneurship. So comrade Andre Hartton, thank you for joining us and we're going to have you take the floor now. Thanks.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Peter Gay. Augustine, it is good to be here. Yeah. Big up on yourself. Barrington, on the last campaign I was here and I told him that I don't campaign with losers. So he knows the drift. He came out as a winner and I am expecting the same thing for Patricia Duncan Sutherland. Give her a round of applause. Such a lovely lady she is. Comrade Donna Scott Motley, a mother to us in the party. We've learned so much from you. And she keeps the party on the forefront where legal issues are concerned. Such a lovely lady. Give her a round of applause. Oh, a teacher, I sat and I listened to them. I almost fall asleep. The same things over and over again, all talk without substance. And that is where this present government has brought the country to a point where talking seems to value more than real action. So we're not going in a man of action, a man that will create real changes with real foundation. Give him a round of applause. The next Prime Minister of Jamaica, give him a real round of applause. Today, the Prime Minister started in the 1970s. I do believe that I should begin in the 1970s. In the 1970s, Jamaica was on the brink of real development. Young leader Michael Manley, who believed in the real ability of every Jamaican. And with that approach, his mantra was to develop in us a philosophy of self-reliance. And what is self-reliance? Self-reliance is when each man values their output, each man values their labor, so each man contributes to the work, to the effort, to the reward that he receives for him and his family. And Michael Manley was very instrumental, right, to talk about how he was going to accomplish these goals. Free education. My mother spoke of when she got uniform free, breakfast free, lunch free, everything free as it relates to school. And with that, many Jamaicans who boast themselves to be a part of the middle class today, who boast themselves to be the best lawyers, the best doctors, the best accountants, the best teachers, the best nurses, in their 60s and 50s, benefited from the foundation that was established by Michael Manley and the politics of change that embedded the philosophy of self-reliance in our Jamaican people. No good leadership comes without challenges.
Right now, our champion for change, our leader with clean hands and clean heart, the man with deep and clean hands. Good vibes that is holding. Check it.
Thank you very much, Comrade Peter K. Ferguson. Comrade Donna, respect. Next Member of Parliament, next my darling. We have a talk a little first, alright? Have a seat, my seat. No problem. Want to big up Comrade Patricia Duncan Sutherland, next Member of Parliament, Eastern St. Andrew. I'm bridging Dr. Andre Hartton, ex-Member of Parliament, West Central St. James, yeah. Comrade Darrington, Councillor for Papine Division. Comrade Little, caretaker for Mona Division. All of the comrades in the house, all of the supporters in the house. First of all, what a lovely cool evening here in Augusta. Trust me, yeah man. Yeah. You know, Augusta is a special place to me. First of all, you give me my Empress, you know? Yeah. And in fact, I heard somebody mention Gilbert, you know? And I was thinking to myself, I remember when Gilbert leaked, I made up a walk from Ligani, where I was living at the time, and walk on 19 Bryce Hill Road to see what I go on, you know? To make sure it's alright. And trust me, the place, they couldn't believe every fence down, every, you know, the place was totally different, flat man. But the next few months was a different liberty, different style of living. But, you know, I was born and grew up on College Common, 9 College Common. You know, my father, Professor Golding, was Professor Orthopedics at UA. Founded the Hope Valley Experimental School. Yeah, man. You know, and you give him a wife. You know, we used to no futurology used to flex with originally. You know, play ball every weekend. Yeah. And then, you know, Augustown man too. So this is really part of my upbringing, part of who I am is because of my experience here. And I give thanks for it. And you know, you have a candidate in Trisha who is a very experienced person. She has lived through many things in life. She is very capable and her heart is with the people. She will be an excellent Member of Parliament, an excellent representative for you. And I know that she's working hard to make that happen. And she has my full support, full support. As has been said, Comrade Darrington, you gave me one of the sweetest feelings when you won your victory in Papine. Believe you me, because your opponent, we don't want to say nothing. We're just glad said you give me that victory. Cross. And I want to thank everybody inside here who played any role in that happening. You know, who step forward with Darrington and make sure say we win the Papine Division. Because what? We now have the KSAMC, Andrew Sweeney is the mayor. And he's doing good things. We're doing good things. So it is a wonderful thing, really a wonderful thing. Comrades, I sat through a very long and fairly boring speech in Parliament today, you know. You know, when I saw all the diplomats leave, I thought, boy, the thing really not looking good, you know. And then I noticed so many other things he touched on were things that we have been saying. The importance of agriculture in development. You know, the need to provide a solution for people who don't have access to lawful electricity. And so many other things. You know, I realize I really don't have much vision at all. And when you've been in government for 9 years, and you're the Prime Minister and Minister of Economic Growth, and there's no growth, and you're the Minister of Job Creation, and the jobs that we've created, which he admitted tonight, are really marginal jobs, jobs that leave people in food poverty. Because we have 3.4% unemployment and we have 55% of the people facing food poverty, insecurity, moderate and severe food security. That means you're not eating nutritious food. You're not eating, and then of course you have all of the medical conditions that flow from that. High blood pressure, diabetes, and the kidney problem, and the stroke problem. You know, so Jamaica not going down the right car. And if you need to go to the hospital, if you're sick, man, you're in trouble, man. Right now, they know operating theatre at KPH. KPH! When certain wicked things reach you, they say you have to go. And no operating theatre. And it's not just KPH. Many hospitals, I remember the list is so long. So I'm saying this country is going down the wrong path. And the reason I think is that there's no ethics, what I call ethics. There's no principle of behavior and of morality that is a guiding light for the leaders of the country right now. And that is why we're making the wrong decisions. And that's why things are not turning the way they should. So when I spoke earlier this week on Tuesday, I said, listen man, the first place we have to start is bringing back the love, bringing back decency, bringing back care for one another, and bringing back discipline and personal responsibility in our lives. We can't go nowhere without that, you know. We will always be underperforming. We will always be heading in the wrong direction if we don't embrace good standards of living, good moral fiber, and the right way of dealing with each other and with our Almighty God. That must be the beginning of everything. And that is my message to Jamaica. And I don't think anybody can assume that the Jamaica Labour Party under its current leadership can deliver that. Because when you look at how they have run the country, the long list of scandals that have taken place under their watch, the problems with the Integrity Commission, etc., etc. It's not a good look. It's not a good look for our country. Comrades, we want to be bold when we form government. We want to do some things that are going to make a big difference to the lives of the people and to give people opportunities that they don't have now to step forward in life. And we're thinking of, we can't do everything because we have to run the country. The financial and economic side of it has to be done properly because Jamaica has learned how important that is, because we went through all kinds of tribulations over the years, and we've now understand the importance of making sure you stay within certain basic rules, like how you run your household. You can't do certain things if you don't have the money to do it. And that's how it goes. In Jamaica, you have to keep within the rules that we have set for ourselves. But the beauty of it is that there are lots of opportunities to improve things within those rules. And the beauty of it is that if we make the right decisions and the right moves now, within a decade, we'll be in a very different place. We'll be in a much better place. We have to make our people more productive so that the economy can grow and it can attract investment, and we build a virtuous circle where things are having a positive momentum and the investment start to rain into Jamaica, because all the people, for one, we don't know the 2-3 million Jamaicans who live outside of Jamaica. Many of them in North America. Things looking a little unsettled up there. Many of them, I think, would want to see an opportunity to come and invest in the country, and to, you know, so they have some options. You know, so that is a big source of potential development for the country as well. So we just have to get our act together and do the necessary things from the right place now and start to build one success at a time in the positive direction, and we can achieve. We must invest in our people. That means education and training, because your people must be educated and trained so they can have the skills and have the approach that will allow people to get the right kind of jobs, and people can invest in the right businesses that create value here. And we have a lot of great ideas, and we've unfolded some of them already, and the people them love it. Because the response from Julian spoke last week Thursday and I spoke Tuesday, the response has been very positive. Some of them are saying, oh, we can't pay for it. No, not so. First of all, I don't want to get too technical. But you know, trust me, we're not going to do anything we can't pay for, and we're going to find ways in which we can do what we have to do. You know, there's room, because if people elect us, it's not to do just what the Labourite them have been doing. We have to change. That's why they want change. So some of what they are doing not going to continue, and it's going to be replaced by things that we think need to be done for the people. And so we will be able to afford it, and we will sequence it and phase it so that it's affordable. And that is what we're about to do. But let me tell the people, tonight really is not so much about lectures or talking to you like this. We want to have a conversation and hear from the people. You know, that is the beauty of this format, because we've had, this is the second one that I'm attending. It's a foot bracket. You're right. But the one I remember was the best is the first one. Which was on Jarrett Lane, up at the top of Saunders Lane.
Second one this year.
Oh, this year? Okay. Boy, you had so many of them. But that one, you know, was very good because the people got involved and we had a good conversation. I learned things, because when I talk to people, I listen, you know, and I hear what they must say, and I try and think, well, how can I deal with that, and what needs to happen to make their life better? And that is how we get our ideas, by listening to the people and adjusting our policies and so on. But we're not really arrogant amongst the people. We try to be humble and down to earth, because we respect everybody, and we know so we're not better than nobody. We're just here to serve the people, and because we've been blessed with certain talent and certain experience and knowledge that is necessary to move the thing forward, and we're committed to doing that for all of us. So people, I just want to say the word is love. We are here, we're going to have a nice talk, and I'm going to hand over now back to Sister Peter Gay, my comrade. Take up yourself.
Time come.
Thank you, comrade leader. Now you've heard from our next Prime Minister of Jamaica, and comrades, we're going to open up the floor, right, for you to ask your questions, to we let them know that our leader have clean hands and clean hearts. We have an MP who's in touch with the people, know what the people they want, and know say $2,000 can't help them a month time, right? Like some other people. So to make sure to spread the message far and wide, because there's a lot of plans and programs and policies in place to uplift the masses of the people in Jamaica, and that is what we need most right now than anything else, right? So with comrade leaders pretty close.
Every day I'm watching I'm on my man. And you watch everything from straight now, straight and you watch everything from man. And I'm just saying, know you man. Blessing man. See right up, yeah man, and you watch everything straight man.
You spread the message. I hope those of you who didn't get to go to the parliament, you at least were able to listen to the plans, the policies, and the programs. And like Comrade Trisha said, this wasn't something that Comrade Leader sat on his own and decided on. It came from the team. There were consultations done. You know, people were engaged to find out what is it that Jamaicans really want to see from us. There are a number of polls that were done, and so those were how the priority areas were selected. And we know say a lot of people find it difficult to having to decide whether you're going to send your child to school today, or you're going to decide how you're going to cook for the family at home, or what is it that you prioritize that you need. And so we are proud of our party who sees it as utmost importance to ensure that education is at the forefront of our plans and programs and our priority to move Jamaica forward. When we have an educated nation, it boosts our economy, it grows our GDP, and when you invest in your human capital, that's the best thing that we can do for Jamaica, right? Ensure that our people are empowered, that they have the resources that are needed. And especially I'm happy for us here in this constituency, because we know say a lot of things need to sort out, especially where land regularization is concerned. Imagine you can finally sleep good in your house knowing that you own the land, you own the property on which you live, and government can't come run you off it because they feel like say you catch there, you know, for there. So when PNP come in power, those things will be sorted out, and Eastern St. Andrew will definitely benefit from that, right? Young people 35 and under, a lot of we want one home. We don't want to wait until we are 60 or 70. We just try to figure out how we are going to buy a home, or we have to group up with brother, cousin, sister, auntie, nephew to own somewhere, and then what happens to our children? no future not there for them because you can't left that for them. So we are happy that the People's National Party is definitely prioritizing those areas, home ownership, education, right? And you don't want to also borrow. And it's good to you can pay your rent until you can't own it. Where's your mic, Trisha? See it there. Yes. We don't want to also borrow either.
Yeah, because this man say I borrow the house. When they get the social housing, I don't really yours. You know, go take for your land, and then you go take for the house. And then after that, we don't know who are going to get it.
You see? So, I don't only say them a give you something, you know. When you dead and gone, them want to take it back. Plus, your own land when you... Yeah, true. Right? So we don't want to take it back government, and we don't want to treat card government because of that them specialize in and we don't depend on that. So there are real programs and policies that will move us forward, and I'm very proud to be a part of the People's National Party. But we're proud of the party too. But we're ready to take it to some of them and make them know say we are not the same. You know, like how Kendrick Lamar said they're not like us? Yeah, them are not like we. Them and we are not the same thing. Them not ready for this yet. I will know say, while some of them they are going to scrape for them friend and company, PNP they are work. Sister P done set the legacy for we, and we're there for continue and build on it like everybody else, right?
DJ!
Ready? Alright, Comrade Sand and Milk, welcome. Our next Prime Minister.
Concern about the poorer class of people who cannot afford certain things based on the prices. Even the local shops around, you know, the free market thing, it's getting way out of hand for the poorer class of people to be able to afford certain things. People are selling things randomly for random prices. You understand? And some people, for the person who have it, can afford certain things, but the persons who don't have it, it's very restrained for those persons to be able to purchase things. So I'm just asking when PNP come back into power, what we're going to do to control the prices of things. It's really getting way out of hand. Secondly, I just want to share about this. I think that the Prime Minister at this moment, I believe that he's playing God. That's how I look at it. When you look at the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister is saying that the kind of police force that we have now is not the police force then. The type of police that we have now is not the type of police that he's saying that. You see, they go to the court or they go back to the Jamaica. You understand? I am saying that is the reform for people. You're not saying that people must commit crime, but there is a court that when you go to the court proves you whether you are guilty or not guilty. And you have the jail or the prison where some people go to, and then they rehabilitate and send them back into society. But if you are going to take it up and saying that the police, you're giving the police them certain authority to just go around and kill people. You understand? But the scene and the nose right now, and some young youths are being killed. You understand? Because the power that the Prime Minister is giving to the police, that you can go against the law and do certain things because you committed a crime or you do something. I think that you're supposed to take the person up to the court because some people do things, for some different reason. It's not that you are saying that you must commit crime, but there is a court and there is a law, and I think every police must obey the law because you are not bigger than the law.
Alright, we're going to take all the questions, comments and feedback and then respond. So this is the last set of questions.
Alright, good night, comrades. So one of my questions that I wanted to ask was today during the Prime Minister's, soon-to-be former Prime Minister's budgetary presentation, he made a comment to say that murder actually went down due to the state of emergency that took place in West Kingston. I'm from West Kingston, and I would have seen constitutional breaches, persons being murdered in cold blood, persons having their kids being moved out of the community because of fear. One of my questions is, how are we going to counter that argument, because we know it would have been through different community projects and stuff that we would have, the Peace Initiative, the Unite for Change, that would have been, and proper policing, integrating with the police and the community. That's how we would have had violence going down. How would we go ahead as a party to stand and to say, because of policing and community developments, we have decreased, violence would have decreased. And I've been in this constituency since 2012. I attended UTEC, lived on campus, lived in Mona and on Tavern Drive. I remember when I lived in Mona, I could come into Papine. You had a man named John Wayne. I could get food at John Wayne. When I go down, because I'm a foodie, so I know all the joints. When I come to Tavern, I am able to get food somewhere in Tavern, and even down on Mountain View in East Kingston, because I grew up there. And I would have seen where police, one night I was going home at about 3 a.m. and there was no curfew, and they said that there are curfew. And I'm concerned with because for me, I know it's a class thing when they attack persons, because if you're from the ghetto, police, the reality is the police and the soldier, they don't come to you and they don't say, hey, whatever, they approach the person in an aggressive tone. So for me, I feel as if persons within the PNP areas, they are being targeted. I don't want to bash them with the police, but I'm seeing where in Jarrett Lane, I've heard of cases in Mona Commons and other areas within the constituency where police are targeting persons. And fine, I don't have the regular experience. I'm from West Kingston. I can get down and I can get another, but I don't have the everyday experience of the ghetto youths being attacked by police. How do we move forward, and what would be the plans to incorporate and to have unity between the police and the citizens? I remember when Steve McGregor was at Central, he was able to speak with the persons downtown, where I think he was even placed at Denham Town. He was able to speak to persons. What would be the approach for this upcoming PNP government? Because I know, fine, I don't have the experience. I have persons living in the ghetto, and their experience might be different.
Good night. My name is Troy Jack. I grew up in town. I have a law degree, and I started working on business already. In countries like Scandinavia and the Netherlands, if the economy falls here now, it will take about 30 years to be back. Jamaica has been with independence since 1962, and all I see is most of the country dollar is sliding. What is your powers to build the economy so that the dollar is stable and the economy can grow?
Yeah, US, I know. I had the US go. Wicked.
This government is trying to undermine the integrity commission. And only this government have a problem with the integrity commission. Because nobody else have that. The integrity commissioner come out and say, this government of 28 bank accounts, one only get it from. We are saying to this government, all these 28 bank accounts, we are the new get it from, and all the people have problem with the intelligence commissioner. Is this government understand? And we are saying to you, you will be the next Prime Minister. And we want to know what you are going to do. This chairman, the integrity commissioner, corruption, what this government are doing.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Good point. Even though you stagger with it, even though you dry it out.
We're going to wrap it up.
Not down yet.
Because we know that the People National Party cannot lose this election when it is at the time. And we want you to do something. This chairman, the integrity commissioner, that they can afford to investigate the corruption.
Fair with it, it must be independent. The only thing I expect of them is that they must respect due process, so that when they're investigating, they do so fairly. And then I don't want them to be an instrument of bad administration or anything of that kind. But as long as they are behaving as they should, then meaning that they are complying with the law that governs them, and fairness, the rules of fairness, we will allow them to do the investigations, to prosecute who's to be prosecuted, and we will ensure that they have sufficient resources to do their work, because that is very important. And any wrongdoings that have gone on under this government, those will have to be thoroughly investigated, and whatever action should take place, and let the chips fall and lie where they fall. All right, that's one. Yeah.
All right, we have the issue of the price. Price.
Yes. The first question was in relation to price controls. Now, in the 70s, we were operating in a different world in which there was basically two systems. There was a socialist system and there was a capitalist system, and they were not, it was an antagonistic situation between the East and the West, as they were called. My command was trying to chart a course where we were independent, we were friends with everybody, and not ruled or controlled by anybody. We stand up in the world on our 2 feet. And the system that was designed then included things like basic food items. There was a price commission that set and controlled any modification of prices. And a lot of the importation of basic food items was handled by the government through what was then called the State Trading Corporation. After 1980, the Washington Consensus, of which Dr. Hartton spoke, said essentially those things, that system needs to be dismantled and cut out, because you're going to have inefficiencies, you're going to have waste, and the way in which you ensure that prices are controlled is not through the state trying to determine what prices should be, but by competition, by having people competing in the marketplace and trying to attract business by offering the best prices so that people will come, or good service. That is the way that system is supposed to work. What we need to ensure is that there is a fair trade commission that is supposed to look at how the market is operating, and where players in the marketplace, businesses in the marketplace are not operating fairly, they're misleading advertising, they're price gouging, there's collusion. That needs to be stamped on. And so those agencies need to do their work. The government can also play a role, because certain taxes at the wharf and certain taxes that are imposed on trading, GCT, SCT, customs duty, we need to really look at the impact of those things on the basic food items and see what adjustments can be made so that the prices can come down for the people. And we're committed to reviewing those things and seeing what can be done in that regard.
IMF deal in 2030. Give the People's National Party a round of applause. What Bruce Golden could not do, what Ardley Shaw could not do, Peter Phillips and Portia Simpson Miller were able to get there. And that is fundamental. So when we speak of the modern Jamaica, and when we speak of debt reduction, they are the two most instrumental beings towards laying the foundation. And the People's National Party is the most influential political movement that has laid that foundation. Since then, our debt kept falling because we established what is called fiscal rules. You cannot spend more than what you earn. You cannot borrow beyond a certain point. You have to maintain a high primary surplus. As a matter of fact, countries that were more indebted than us in Europe and Asia laughed at the high primary surplus that was imposed on Jamaica because they thought it was impossible. But we did. 2013, 2014, 2015. We maintained amazing fiscal discipline to move Jamaica forward with its modern economy. Anyway, the JLP saw it and they inherited the economy in 2016. And lo and behold, you know them happy-go-lucky already. Boy, with a foundation like this, we can have the country growing by 5% in 4 years. Ha ha ha, that's what they said. And they do a lot of talking. So from 2016, they said that in 4 years, we want the country to grow by 5%. 2017, the country still growing meager. 2017, the country still growing meager. 2018, the country still growing meager. 2019, virtually zero. So the plans that they have for growth for the economy was not forthcoming. Then came the COVID-19 pandemic to put insult to injury. Then after that, the economy grew in 2021 because it fell in COVID-19. Hear them. The economy grew enough now, so it's going to continue on that high growth path. By 2022, the growth fell. 2023, the growth fell even more. And last year, the country experienced negative economic growth. So the Jamaica Labour Party, through their plan of 5 and 4, and when them said economic growth of job creation, which jobs they have been creating, we must give them that. They have been creating jobs. It's a marginal jobs. So if you get a job, if you help people fill out a survey, if you are weak, them count as employed. If you get a little roast on a contract, if you are month, them count as employed. She's employed. If you sell some sweetie or some ice cream, which I know you're an entrepreneur, we have plans to make your business grow. You don't worry. They count you as employed. So the Jamaica Labour Party, yes, they embarked on a plan of job creation, but not on a path of economic growth. And that is where their biggest downfall lies. Because you, as a well-thinking leader, cannot talk about creating jobs for your people without talking about creating wealth for a nation of such remarkable people. Because we were slaves and jobs we had. But what is there to show for these jobs? Nothing, because there was no compensation. So there is no job discussion without talking about income. There is no job discussion without talking about raising the value of those jobs. When you go to America, which I know many of you do, what's the clothes on our van? There is nobody pumping your gas. Why is that so? Because they see that as a non-value added job. So they try to get rid of jobs that do not add value. When you go to the supermarket, there's no one packing your bags. Because they see that as a non-value added job. As a matter of fact, cashiers, which most of the Jamaican population are employed by the wholesale and retail industry, over 300,000 of us, they want to get rid of the cashiers abroad. So you know, you go to Walmart, you go to Tesco, you are cashing out automatic, you don't have anybody talking to. You scan your goods, put them in your bag, pay your money and go about your business. That is just one way how automation is taking up.
The dawn is at hand. Who joins in the fight for his own native land? Land of my birth, I pledge to be loyal, faithful, true to thee. Time come.
So, comrades, much love. Yes man, we appreciate it. What is Rhyme Up TV? Gabriel. One PNP. That's it. One man. Comrade every time.
Big Belly Sky is a Rhyme Up TV. People, God bless you, man, don't support it. Big Belly Sky is the workers' champion. That you are good youth and a God bless you. So support him. Hey, Sky Jones!
My name is Dwayne from the World Immortal Store. I don't know. Rhyme Up TV, man. Tell you about that TV station. Don't touch on the dial, you understand? World Star Love, Rhyme Up TV. Folks, angry.
I'm going to cover the world Google. Not about Rhyme Up TV. It's a Rhyme Up, one of the real one then. That's why I stand up here, son. I do this. That's Rhyme Up. I'm real. I'm saluting. You hear that? Rhyme Up, pick up yourself, you know. Rhyme Up!
Here from Manhattan with the Rebel Girl Daniel here representing Rhyme Up. I love you.
Well, I don't know how I can marvelous to represent for DJ Rhyme Up. Rhyme Up.
First them and there ain't no stress, then you don't know it. Sean Paul alongside Rhyme Up. Tell some boy them time up. You don't know it go. Rhyme Up. Play music. Don't it.
Rhyme Up. Well, global Rhyme Up. Like a real talking. I am telling you.
Clear the talk on this Rhyme Up.